All right. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And a sincere salutations to Aki pushing his truth and sincerity by bahasham, qadash. All right. I want to go into a couple scriptures. Lord wanted to be edifying. We're coming up on a time, okay, that the prophecies are speaking, and everything that is written in the scriptures is true, is faithful and true. So we have to adhere to these prophecies and what the scriptures really say, because this is our guideline. This is like an oracle that tells us what's going to happen. Okay, so it's wise for us to stay watching and to stay doing the word and in truthfulness, all right, sincerity. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are in this truth that are not going to make it, and that's the bitter reality. So I was reading these scriptures and I was just thinking, it's very wise to stick to the word, stick to Yahawashi, Yahawashi, and really forget this world, forget what's in it, cut off all ties, cut off anything, the pleasures of the flesh, and hey, don't get me wrong, man, it's a battle. I'm not going to say that it's not, but it's important that we adhere to what's written, okay, because it's going to happen. And it's happening. So with us who've been given this knowledge, it's imperative that we really be hearers and doers of the word, not just hearing and deceiving one's own self. Okay, I'm going to start in the book of Luke. This is Luke 12:36. And ye yourselves like unto men that wait for the Lord. So you have to be a man that is waiting for Yahawashi, Yahawashi. Okay. Literally, the scriptures say to watch and to pray, all right, that you may be able to escape all the things that are coming upon the earth. It says, when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. All right, so when the Lord comes back, you want, okay, you want the chariot to beam you up, man. You want to be able to open the door and be like, Lord, I'm right here, I'm ready. Okay, instantaneously, immediately. The Lord comes back, with all his angels to pick up the righteous. Okay, you want to be one of those men. How you gonna be one of those men? If you do what the Lord has commanded, be a faithful servant. Watch. Give strict attention to be on your guard. Okay. It says, blessed are those servants, because we're servants, man. That's another thing. We're servants. We're here to serve one another. We're also here to serve those of the hopeful elect that are hearing what we're teaching, okay? Because we believe, okay, that the Lord set up men upon the earth, and those men are the apostles, and every man came into this truth by hearing, okay, the teachings of the apostles and the elders and the brothers on down from the many camps, okay? So we're servants, man. That's what we've been set up to do. We've been set up to serve the people. This knowledge, okay, this truth, the real understanding of the Bible. That's what we're doing. All right. So don't get it misconstrued and forget that you're a servant, man. We're servants. All right, and that's important. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord when he cometh shall find watching. You see, you have to be found watching. Because we're in a spiritual battle. We're fighting against the rulers of darkness. We're fighting against principalities. We're fighting a battle that's not physical, but it's with what? It's with this word. We're teaching the word, and it's bringing down the society is crumbling because this word is being proclaimed throughout the earth. Right? So blessed is that servant who, when the Lord comes, he finds him doing that. All right, being a minister. All right, being called and making his calling and election sure, going out there to the highways and hedges and teaching those that can receive it. All right, making these videos, doing these videos, doing your part to the best that you can. Blessed is that man. Verily I say unto you that he shall gird himself and make them to sit down to me, and will come forth and serve them. So when the Lord comes back, he's going to serve you with what? He's going to give you a crown of righteousness. Okay. You're going to rule with the Heavenly Father, with Yahawashi, Yahawashi, okay, on earth. It says, and if he shall come in the second watch or come in the third watch and find them so, blessed are those servants. All right, because you don't know what time the Lord's going to come. It says the second watch and the third watch, because in the ancient world they set up watchmen, okay, on the wall that guarded the city. Okay, so you have to be on your watch, on that watchtower, on the wall, watching, for any impending danger. Okay, because we represent righteousness upon the earth. That's what Israel is. Israel is the Lord's people. He gave his laws, judgments, statutes, and commandments, and we would be wise among all the people that are upon the earth. That's why we've been given this truth, all right, now in these days, to bring forth righteousness back upon the earth. This is the Lord's movie, man. We had to go through hell, but now that we got this truth, we have to change and do what the Lord commanded of us. Because the Lord set up from the apostles all the way down his body upon the earth. Let me see if I can get that. It's in the book of Timothy. Let me see it real quick. That scripture that tells you that this is the Lord's. Where was it at? I believe it's in Timothy. It's a lot here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think it's in 1 Timothy. This is 1 Timothy 3 and 15. But if I tarry long, that thou mayest know how thou oughtest to behave thyself in the house of the Most High, which is the church of the living power, the pillar and ground of the truth. Right? So you need to know how to behave yourself. Okay. In the church of Yahawashi, the pillar and ground of the truth. So this is the truth on the earth. All right, this is the house of the Most High, Yahawashi upon the earth. Okay, the church is a great millstone. All right, and anybody who follows the true word of the Lord, which is set up, that was taught by the apostles, who the Lord set up. You need to know how to behave yourself. You need to know how to adhere to the word and be a doer. Okay, not just a hearer, because you're doing what? You're just deceiving yourself. All right, running wild, just acting a certain type of way, just doing, saying whatever you want to say, thinking whatever you want to think against brothers. You know what I mean? Being manipulative. You know what I mean? If you're doing those type of things, man, then you're not watching. You're not doing what you were set up to do. And if he shall come in the second watch or come in the third watch and find them so, blessed are those servants. Let me look at that word servant real quick, just to drive that point home. This is Luke 12 and 38. That word servant. 1 second. Let's see. Servants.
Strong's G 1401. Doulos.
Metaphor. One who gives himself up to another's will, those whose service is used by Hamashiach in extending and advancing his cause among men. You see that? One who gives himself up to another's will, right? Because you're a man is subject into what? To people who are higher than him. This is like the Lord's army, the Lord's people that are upon the earth. All right, just like in the ancient world, if you read in the book of Samuel, the house of David. Okay, David had a captain of his host. Okay, there was men that were ranking under him all the way down to the bottom, servants. All right, we are servants, man. From brothers to camp heads, and camp heads got leaders over them, and they got leaders over them, all the way up to the apostles, elders, apostles. All right. Those whose service is used by Hamashiach in extending and advancing his cause among men. So we're extending and advancing the Lord's cause among men. Devoted to another to the disregard of one's own interests. So it's not about what you want to do, okay? It's about what the Lord wants you to do for him, okay? A servant, that's what we do. We serve, okay? We serve each other, and we serve those that are blessed enough to get this word. And this know that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not suffered his house to be broken through. Right? The scriptures say the Lord comes like a thief in the night. But if you knew what time the Lord was coming, you wouldn't suffer, your house to be broken through. The thief wouldn't, you wouldn't suffer a thief to come break through your house, Like when someone steals your car, like a guy stole my car, my truck a couple of years back, and I had no idea. I woke up and it was gone. That's how it's going to be, man. Those who are not ready, they're not going to be ready for that day. So you have to be prepared. You have to be watching. All right. You have to be on your watch. You have to be a servant. You have to be advancing the Lord's cause among men, doing this work and doing it right. There's a certain way to do it. Okay. And every brother has his own portion, same faith. Okay. But every brother teaches a different way. Every brother walks a little different. All right. You can't just be looking at somebody because you don't like them for whatever causes. You know what I mean? They've got different levels of faith. Some brothers are stronger. Some brothers are weaker. Okay. Some brothers are physically stronger. Some brothers are physically weaker. Some brothers have more. Some brothers have less financially. Whatever the case may be. But you can't be looking at somebody carnally, man. You got to be looking at men like if they were set up by the Lord to serve. Okay, you can't just be a fleshly, carnal man and see things the way you want to see things, man. It says, "Be ye therefore ready also, for the Son of Man cometh at an hour when ye think not." So you have to know that the Lord's coming at an hour when you don't know. No man knows, man, but Yahawah the Father knows when He's going to send Yahawashi back. Okay, so you have to be ready. Okay, if not, then your house is going to get broken through, so to speak. You're going to get taken by surprise. Let's see. It says, "Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even unto all?" And the Lord said, so Peter was saying, "You're speaking it to us, or you're speaking to to the disciples, or you're speaking to everybody?" Because sometimes you see these videos and you'll be like, "Hey man, are they talking about me?" Hey, well, through the Spirit, everything has to pertain to you, man. You have to look at every video like, it could be talking to you. Even if it's not, you have to take all these wise words that brothers that have been endued this knowledge and their portion, you have to take it in consideration. You got some people that say, "Oh, they're not talking about me." Well, you better think they are. You better hope. You know what I'm saying, that it's not. But if it is, in any event, you got to take heed. Take heed. Listen, right? Listen to what people say. All right. That's taking things into consideration. That's being on your watch too. You're watching out for what people say. Like, what? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. You have to. That's how you have to be. It says, "And the Lord said, Who then is that faithful and wise steward?" Let's look at that word steward. Now let's look at that word faithful real quick. I looked it up earlier. This is Luke 12:42, that word faithful. Faithful, pistos.
Strong's G 4103. Pistos.
Trusty, faithful. You got to be trustworthy. You got to be trusted. You have to have you have to build trust. Okay, with the Lord, you have to build trust within the body. Faithful. Of persons who show themselves faithful in the transaction of business. This is a work. This is work. This is a business, man. All right. The execution of commands or the discharge of official duties. Right. You have to be faithful in the execution of commands and the discharge of official duties. Okay. You have to show yourself faithful. All right. And when people command things of you, and in duties, man. If you cannot hold your position, you're not being faithful, man. You're not doing what has been commanded of you. One who kept his plighted faith worthy of trust, that can be relied on, believing, confiding, trusting. In the New Testament, one who confides in the New Testament, one who trusts in the Most High's promises. One who has become convinced that Yahawashi is the Messiah and author of salvation. This is what being faithful means, man. You have to be faithful in what the Lord gave you. Your position. If you can't hold on to that position, man, you're not being faithful. You're not being on your watch. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. So Yahawashi was letting him know, who then is that faithful and wise steward whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season. Okay? So, right, who is that servant? Who is that? Who then is that faithful and wise steward? You got to be wise, man. You got to use the wisdom of these scriptures. You got to stay in the book, stay reading. And you can tell when somebody's not reading because they're incoherent what they're saying. It's more opinion than truth. It says, "Who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season?" Right. When the Lord comes back, the elect is going to be joint heirs, man. Okay, they're going to inherit the kingdom with Yahawashi, and the Lord's going to make them rulers. All right. Let's see. But it says, and we're made rulers over the household right now, over the Lord's church, over the Lord's body right now. Every man is a leader. Every man has a specific task. The whole body works together for the furtherance of the gospel, right? So who is that wise steward? Okay, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. So blessed is that servant whom the Lord comes back. He's doing that. He's teaching the flock. He's being a faithful servant. Being a brother. Okay, visiting the sick. All right, being a father to the fatherless. Okay, helping brothers out and charity. Keeping the laws, judgments, statutes, and commandments. There's a lot of things in this truth, man. It's not just about barking orders or thinking you're an Israelite and you're invincible, all right? That you can just yell at people and do whatever you want, you know what I'm saying? About having a bunch of women and getting drunk all the time, you know what I'm saying? That's not what this truth is about, you know what I'm saying? That's what the wicked do. That's what worldly people do. That's what people who haven't been purged and changed, that are not willing to change, I should say, are doing. That's what that's about. That those are things that are highly esteemed among men. All right, but this truth is of a different fashion. You have to present your body as a living sacrifice, holy. All right, use your members for righteousness as opposed in the world. You use them for wickedness. You have to be changed in the mind. You have to act different. Right, and it's not overnight. It takes time. It takes time for a man to act different than what he did before he came to this knowledge, right? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. See? The Lord has a lot, man. The scriptures say, in my Father, what is this in the book of John? See if I can find it real quick. If not, I'm going to continue. I'm going to just move on. This is John 14:2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. It says, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. There where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, you know, and the way you know. You see? So in the Lord's house, there's many mansions, man. So you're going to be a ruler over all the Lord hath. The Lord has a lot, man. The Lord's going to give you your heart's desires if you stay faithful. All right? But if you go aside, you ain't going to get none of that, man. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again. You see, the Lord's going to come back, man, and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. You see, if you're part of the elect, you're going to be right with Yahawashi in the kingdom. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know. You see, and if you're part of the elect, you're going to know where to go. You're going to know how to go, man, how to get there, because it's embedded in you. It's something that nobody can take from you. It's something inside. Every man every man that's in this truth, man, that is sincere, man, that's what we call ourselves the hopeful elect, because we feel like we have that, man, that anointing, that understanding where no matter what the situation is, nobody can take that from you, man. You know where you're going. You know how to get there, man. Right? That's what, we go through all kinds of manner of hell and distress and troubles, but nonetheless, man, the Lord, He knows who are His, man. That's what we always say. We are the hopeful elect. We got that confidence, man. And some days is better than others, but it's still, man. We know how to get. The scripture say the kingdom of heaven is within you, man. Do you not know yourself, man? Lest he be reprobate. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know how you're walking. And when somebody tells you something, man, you got to check yourself and say, hey, man, shit, am I fucking it up? And you got to know when you're fucking it up and not, try to blow it under the rug and shit, because you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? What's that saying? Where everywhere you go, there you are. You know what I'm saying? That's the saying in the world. You hear that shit, because everywhere you go, there you are. You can't hide, man. Nobody can hide in the eyes of Yahawashi. Everything is naked into the eyes of Yahawashi and Yahawashi. And if that servant, back in Luke 12:45, and if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and to eat and drink and to be drunken. You see? You're a servant, but what do? Let's see. Let me go back. 45, Luke 12:45. And if that servant say in his heart, right? Deep down inside you saying, man, this ain't happening yet, man. I still got time to, do what I want to do, man. I can still do this. I can still slip in the world. I can still be, lukewarm. You can't do that, man. You have to really be firm and be wise in your decisions and watch how you're walking, man. Watch circumspect. Nothing but evil out here, man. You could fall. There's many snares, many traps. The devil is cunning, man. Satan is just like a roaring lion. He comes in many fashions, many forms. It says, but if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming. You don't want to say that in your heart, man. You don't want to say, man, hey, man, this thing, man, I still got another year or two. We don't know when the Lord's going to come back, man. This thing could speed up real quick. We see all the prophecies coming to pass. We see all the upheaval in the world. We see all the natural disasters that the Lord has been doing. We see all these things that are happening, man. My Lord delayeth his coming and shall begin to beat the maid servants, the men servants, and the maidens, man. That word beat.
Strong's G 5180. Tuto.
To strike, beat, smite. To smite one on whom he inflicts punitive evil. Right? You inflict an evil on somebody. To smite. Metaphor, to wound, disquiet one's conscience. I mean, you got to be careful how you treat, the servants of Yahawashi, man. You got to have the other fellow servants. You can't disquiet one's conscience. You can't, just say what you want to say, because you higher than somebody. You can't just be doing that shit, man. But if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and to eat and drink and to be drunken. That's another thing. Just because scripture say you can drink doesn't mean you got to be a drunk. Doesn't mean you got to be, faded all the time. All toward back. That's not what the truth is about. It says, the Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him. See, the Lord's going to catch you slipping, man. The Lord's going to come back in a day where you're not looking. You know what I'm saying? And at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. You see that? Instead of your portion of ruling with Yahawashi, your portion will be with the unbelievers. Unfaithful, faithless, not to be trusted, perfidious. You see that?
Strong's G 5 571, apostos. Apostos.
Not to be trusted of the Lord, man, because you were given a task and you couldn't do it. Perfidious is deceitful and untrustworthy, treacherous, deceitful, disloyal, traitorous, treasonous, false, untrue, double-dealing, dishonest, two-faced. All right? You don't want to be a two-faced, man. You don't want to be dishonest because you don't lie to nobody. The Lord sees everything, man. And that's why calamities overtake certain people, man. You know? And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. Right. The Lord can beat you with many stripes. And it's not because of the curses, man. You know, you get beaten for doing evil, man, for doing wrong. Scriptures say better is it for you to suffer for righteously than for suffer for wrongdoing, because there is no glory in that, man. There is no glory in that, man. When you're doing evil and you're getting beat up, you get the Lord jacking you all the way up. You know, you're losing all kinds of things. You're catching a lot of L's. It ain't because you're doing righteous. It's because you're doing wickedly. And as a man, you need to see that. As a man, you need to understand those things. There's a difference, man. That's why you have to be circumspect and watch your decisions. Be trustworthy. Be honorable. Be honest. Stand up right. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. Right. But he that knew not, you know, because you got different levels in this truth, man. You know, the scriptures say better is a man who knoweth a little bit and keepeth the law than a man that knoweth a lot and transgress the law, man. You know, it says, for unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall much be required. So if you be given a big portion of this truth, a lot is required out of you. It says, and to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. So if you put in a position, all right, you got a lot of knowledge in this truth, you know the reins, you know the ins and outs. Men are going to need more of you. They're going to ask more of you. You know, they're going to look up to you and show an example of righteousness, how to be a true servant, how to be a true brother, you know, how to walk to the kingdom. You know, you got to show men. You know, the scriptures tell you, man. You know, in the book of Romans, are you confident you're an instructor of babes, but yet you do all these other things? You know, can't be like that, man. Let's see. This is Luke 13:24. Strive to enter into the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter it and shall not be able. So you have to strive, man. You have to really, really, really labor at working into that straight gate. And we know that means that word straight means a difficult, you know, a difficult place of difficulty. Let's see. Right, you have to work hard, man, to enter into the straight gate. Right, because it's a tight rope. It says, I'm gonna skip down. No, I'm gonna continue. Once the master of the house has risen up and has shut. Once the master of the house has risen up and hath shut to the door, and ye begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us, and ye shall answer and say unto you, I know you not whence you are. Right? So if you don't prepare yourself and open up that door when the Lord comes knocking, when that chariot beams down and you come out the crib, or so to speak, you know, you got to be prepared. You got to be ready by doing everything the Lord commands. It says, and ye begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us. And he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not whence ye are. The Lord's going to say, man, I don't know you. I don't know where you are, where you come from. You know, basically, I don't know you. Then shall ye begin to say, we have eaten and drunk in thy presence, and thou hast taught in our streets. You see? You're going to say, hey, you know, didn't we learn from, the apostle? Didn't we learn the truth? Didn't I teach in the truth? You know, wasn't I a member of the body? The scripture, and then the scripture goes on. It says, but he shall say, I tell you, I know you not whence ye are. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity. See? All you who do evil, man. All you who do wickedness, who pervert the ways of the Lord. You can't pervert the ways of the Lord. You can't use this Bible and twist it to fit your carnal pleasures. That's not what this thing is about. Let's see. Is that word iniquity?
Strong's G93. Adikia. Adikia.
Injustice of a judge. Unrighteous of heart and life. And we know that word heart means mind. Unrighteousness of heart and life, of mind and life. A deed violating law and justice, act of unrighteousness. Right. You know, you don't judge right, your mind and your life ain't right, and you're violating basically the laws, judgments, statutes, and commandments. Those are workers of iniquity, man. You got to make sure you ain't doing any of that. It says, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth when ye shall see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all the prophets in the kingdom of the Most High, and you yourselves thrust out. You see? Weeping and gnashing of teeth when you see all the prophets, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all the prophets in the kingdom of the Most High, and you yourself thrust out, you know, and you yourself without. Okay? So, just wanted to bring this out, man, because this is our duty, man, to warn. This is the spirit of prophecy, man, telling what's going to happen in the future, all right? Building and exhorting, warning the body of what's going to happen, man. Just wanted to bring this out. I came across this the other day, you know, and I had, you know, put on the back burner. I didn't do the lesson on it, but, you know, I thought to bring it out because this is important. I'm going to run this back. This is Luke 12:37. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. Verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. Lord, when this was edifying, I want to say, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi. Shalom.